Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Star Ocean. Last time we managed to get to the town of Hot, which is in the same spot the town of Cool was in the future. I guess the town kind of cooled off. Haha! No, that was a bad joke. Anyway, this time we're going to talk to this guy Badam, who we were told that he was looking for adventurers. So let's hear his offer. We want to buy... No, we want to hear your offer. Let's do that first. I don't really need to buy anything from you. Anyway, there's something he wants us to bring back from the weapon shop in Portmas. Oh, okay. The path on Mount Medox has been dangerous lately, you see. So he's going to pay you and even throw in a pass to Portmas, which we actually need now in order to get to that city. We couldn't actually get to that city in the future, so... In the past here, yeah, it's a town to the north. And the pass is now required. There's some pretty cool little things you notice. If you look right to the left of that little number 1 bubble, looks like kind of the Star of David on that cloth. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Looks pretty cool. Anyway, we go to accept the job. And what? Don't even have weapons? Yeah, if you remember when we went through the portal there, we lost all of our weapons. Now, if you kind of notice when I was running through the area prior to the town of Hot, there were actually no enemies. Now you kind of see why, because if so, we would have been hooped. So they just took all the enemies out of the first couple of world map areas. So anyway, we all have to come back later. But before we do that, let's go over here. Now, here is the skill system. This is the way this game does buying skills, and you buy skills in this game. So basically you select one of these, and the explainer will tell you what these contain. Now, herbal medicine, mineralogy, and recipe are kind of pointless to hear anything about because you don't really know what they're talking about. However, these are going to tell you what you're going to get. The middle guy will sell them to you. This is the advisor. He'll just tell you a bunch of stuff. 3 main parts. The one is gaining bonus effects of skills themselves, where it is learning a knowledge skill might raise your intelligence. Might? It's not the knowledge skill, it's... what is it called? I can't remember. Anyway, we do get a skill that doesn't maybe raise your intelligence. We get a skill that will raise your intelligence every time you level it up, and I'll go into that once we start buying skills, which is going to be quite quickly. Anyway, the other types of skills you can learn give you commands or abilities, and if you learn a combination of different things, such as metallurgy and dash, okay, I thought they were going to give me an option to what that was going to teach you. But anyway, there are 10 types, so if you're thinking about learning them all, it'll be tough work. They are correct here. If you decide to try and learn all of the skills for a character, you're going to be here for a long time. At level 87 for my Radix in my first file, I had cleared every enemy on the game, including the game's super boss, and I hadn't come close to mastering everything. So, you're going to want to spread things out. This ties back to the talents window that I was showing you before and why I wanted to use like resetting over and over again until I got the ones that I really wanted. Basically, those talents make it so that you can do item creation with some amount of effectiveness. I can take a level 7 skill at something and try for half an hour and fail every time, or I can get that person doesn't have the talent, or a level 7 person in such and such a skill for item creation and with the talent, and it'll work in like 3 tries. So, 2 minutes tops. Anyway. You can also learn things that are useful in battle, blah 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 blah. Link combo is very important. Now, they do talk about being a battle junkie. Now, pretty much that's this game's crowning achievement. Not to say that the other aspects of this game are bad, but the best part about this game, what this game did better than it did anything else, was the battle system. And the battle system has a lot of issues. But the concept that they put forth was a lot of fun to use. It made people want to get better at the game, or at least it did with me. You also want to get stronger, you want to be able to make better use of things. The other thing that it did really well is, again with the skills, is the item creation, which again is very rudimentary in this compared to such, say like the one in Star Ocean Till the End of Time on PS2. But, they laid a really good groundwork for what they were going to do in the future with this game. Now, the music is fine, it's good, it's not bad, it's not outstanding, it's not a Final Fantasy VI or a Final Fantasy X or something like that, with both games I view to have really good music. But, yeah, so music is not its, big force. The story is not its big force. The basic gameplay, wandering around the world isn't really its big, achievement. Its big achievement is its battle system and its item creation system. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm just going to go into the thing a whole bunch of times, and I'm going to buy each of these. Obviously they cost that amount of fall per skill, and you buy one pack and it gives you all of the skills that he was mentioning with when it pertains to each of these. Now, go to the skill menu. Now, as you can see there, 45 skill points, 33 skill points. We have skill points. We can spend them. I recommend not spending very many at all. In fact, I recommend doing very little. Now, there is a very important reason for this, and again, I'll want to go over that much later. But for the most part, I'm going to leave my skill points alone until I get all of them. Anyone who's played this game before knows why I'm doing this. Just leave it be. Basically, anything that has a 1 skill point cost, you can put that 1 point into. Now, in this case, kitchen, or kitchen knife, is going to raise my strength. Now, your strength is going to raise by your skill level. So right now it's at 0, so obviously I'm not getting anything. But at level 1, 1 times 2 is 2. Level 2, 2 times 2 is 4, etc. You get the picture. Anyway, so at 1 skill point, that's the lowest you can cost for anything. So I'm going to do 1. That's it, no more. Patience costs 2, so I'm going to leave it be. Pretty much anything that costs more than 1, I'm going to leave for now. There are a couple exceptions later on. Gale is the important one. You do want to do this one because you learn the ability Dash. Now, the ability Dash, what it does is, now holding down the B button, I can finally run, thank you. Oh, and the running in this game is nice and fast. I love it. Sometimes it's a little difficult to figure out where exactly you're going. But now, since we've talked to Batum there and found out that we need a weapon, let's go and talk to the weaponsmith over here. Now, let's go through this scene first and then I'll talk about that. Meant to mention that last time, but I didn't. Anyway, find a swordsmith in these. Oh, a cheap weapon of good quality. And if you notice on the left there, that guy showed up again. Really good sword. Oh, even Iria thinks it's a good sword. Must be true. She knows nothing about swords. She knows about phasers. Yeah, I would feel uneasy without a sword too. Half price for only 24. If you buy it, the scene continues. If you don't buy it, you can't progress with the game, so buy it. You need a weapon to get forward. Now, I'm not sure if... Now, if you watch this here... Yeah... He seems to have the inside track on what's going on. Shut up! Okay. This is a fake. It's a famous Eason sword is more like this. And then he shows off his sword, even though we can't see it. We can see it disappearing from his sprite on his back, but we can't actually see it. It would have been nice if he kind of held it over his head like, Frog does a few times in Chrono Trigger, but other than that, oh well. Anyway, so I don't know if we're actually charged that 24 or not. I really didn't look ahead of time, probably should have, but it is a plot required event. You have to do this in order to continue, so I'm assuming not, because if you didn't have the money, you couldn't gain it at this point. There's no way of going out and battling to get more money, so anyway. With that, we go over here, and we can head back to the item shop here, and a scene will trigger. Though it's kind of not really apparent that we're going to have a scene if we come back here, but anyway. You gave the job to the guy over there, which, of course, yeah, is that guy. Pretty obvious. Luckily, when it comes to skills, you only need to buy one set, and it will work for all of your party members, regardless of who you have. Now, well, that's nice of you, but you kind of stopped me from buying a weapon, even if it was weak or a knockoff or whatever it was supposed to be. We're not that weak, we're level 7. Oh. You'd feel uneasy if it was just them, but, you know, if this guy goes with us, everything's fine. Anyway, we're on our way to Portmas now. And there we get to see his sword finally. Anyway, this is C.S. Warren. I'm assuming that's how you want to pronounce his name. Anyway, that's how I'm going to do it. I'm Radix Ferenc. Yeah, your characters actually all have last names. I think they do anyway. Most of them do, if they don't all. Yeah. This guy is supposed to be foul-mouthed, though I don't think we ever hear him swear. And of course there's Iria. Iria seems to get along with him kind of instantly, which is kind of cool. Anyway, now that we've finally done that, we have a pass. And we have some money to stay in the inn, which I don't know why he's giving us money, but okay. Actually, let's see if he's got anything to buy off of him. Let's see, anything interesting? We can buy harmonica, which costs way more than I have. We can buy some spectacles, which we don't need at this point in the game. We can buy a pickaxe, which again, we don't need at this point in the game. And a liquor bottle, which if you press the, that's the square button, that'll be the Y button. It will give you no extra details about what this actually does. This removes, I think, petrification, poison, and paralysis. I think. I only use it for removing, I think I use it to remove paralysis a couple of times, but pretty much every time it's petrification because that status effect is really too common in this game. But we don't need to buy any of those yet because we really don't have to deal with that right now. Let's go over to the inn. Like, they kind of recommended that we stay in the inn, so we should stay in the inn. Let's go stay in the inn. I think we have to do this in order to proceed. If I remember correctly. Perhaps not. Anyway, I rested anyway. After that, let's see who's in this house in this time period. Went off to Sylvant. Oh, wonder if we'll ever make it there. What about you? Zillion monsters, we wouldn't be able to walk outside. Now, get out of my way. Jeez. It's kind of... Anyway, they make a kind of a little reference there. Sylvant is one of the last towns that we'll visit that area, and it does have powerful monsters. Even when you just get there, it's a decent jump up from the last area. So they're kind of making the reference to the fact that I think they did that in Breath of Death as well, where they talk about, oh, if you started in this area, you know, the monsters are way too powerful to fight, as opposed to starting off where our characters started off, where the enemies are always weaker than ever, so that you can kind of get accustomed to the game. Anyway, Portmas is the castle town. It's also a port town, hence the huge ships. Anyway, we can do a private action as well while we're here. Might as well show this off. Let's rest later. Really? I can't do it right now? Look around the town. I'm missing something. I forgot to do something, didn't I? Oh boy. Nope. I'm going the wrong way. Unfortunately, it seems I've forgotten one of the things that I'm supposed to do. There we go. We have to stay the night, then come back for the pass. Now, I forgot this last time I did this as well. For whatever reason, it's not really... I don't know why he needs to wait a day for us to get the pass, but you do have to spend that night in the inn. Now we can move forward. And now we can do the private action. But no, there's no... thought there was a little scene as soon as we left the town. There's not even any booze here. Anyway, with that being said, let's head back in here. Now, there is one sequence here, which I am going to do because I really don't care, but it will have a different outcome if you have a different character later in the game, but then I'd have to wait until way later in the game to do it, and I don't really care that much. Like I said before, and I think it was in the last part there, I'm not going to go out of my way to get different interpretations on these private actions. I'm going to do them as I get to them, and that's pretty much it. Anyway, we talk to Iria. She's looking at... Ooh, sparkly. Pretty. Now we get an option here. I think that lowers approval rating. The same increases. It's pretty obvious with this one. If you have another character later in the game, you'll get a boosted approval rating with both Iria and that other character. I'm not going to tell you who that character is, obviously, but anyway, it could be useful, but it's not a big deal, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'd have to wait until quite a bit later. Anyway, aren't you using that line on the wrong person? She's, of course, referring to Millie. Yeah, there you go. How about I humor you and let's... Oh, okay. So now we have to go talk to this guy over here. They're cheap trinkets. Take them. Okay, then why are you trying to sell them? Why are they in your store if you're not trying to sell them? Anyway, with that being done, she moves out of here and we can go and do something else with both her and Cius here. Something wrong with it. Well, not really. It looks kind of weird. The color's not great, but Super Nintendo colors. I won't complain too much. I wonder what it does mean, huh? Son of the item shop owner got inspiration from the art of some ruins of the ancients and drew it. Wandering artist. Ancients? The city of the ancients, like in Final Fantasy VII? No, not really. Anyway, if you want to learn about them, tell us about them. Seems they don't exist anymore, but word has it they were a real powerful race long ago. And that's it. Yeah. Nothing else to do here. Now in order to, cancel the private action, all we need to do is leave town. And yeah. So now we get our characters to catch up with us here. Bustling with people. Anyway, let's go do this guy's request. Luckily at this point in time, we actually have that longsword. So I'm not sure if we paid for it or not. We probably did. She also has a knuckle, which I don't think we paid for, so you want to equip both of those. And Cius here has a two-handed sword. That's his weapon. He also has some standard armor. He doesn't use a shield because obviously two-handed. Nothing else you can really give to him. Nothing useful. Yeah, they complain about how weak we look. He's the same level. He comes in at the same level as Iria, and Radix is that level as well because I didn't do any extra grinding with him. Now, as far as skills go, basically, as with anyone else, I'm going to put 1 point into that. You don't need to have dash with everyone in order to dash, but these also up your stats, so I'm going to put 1 point into each of those, and then I'm going to leave them. This is his sword style, or his martial arts style, as it is with other characters, and what they do is they work on a couple different levels. So let's use that there. there. And it's hard to explain exactly how the styles work, but a basic look at them is the higher the level of this, to an extent anyway, it will lower the MP cost of your killer moves. And your killer moves are your specials up here, your techs as they were. Now it'll lower the MP cost a little bit, I think it's by like 1 point up to a maximum of 4 points from what I recall reading. So obviously that won't make this free, it'll go down to 1 MP cost, but anyway, other than that, you'll, much later in the game, you'll get what are called secret techniques, and you'll be given these techniques or you'll find them in chests, and one such example for Radix is a 7-star sword tech. Now, you'll get this tech and it'll already be maxed out, you won't have to put any points into it, but the higher your skill is with whatever your style is, whatever your martial arts style is, the better your chances of using a tech, and then in battle it will randomly happen that you'll get a spur of inspiration and your tech will be upgraded based on that style that you got, 7-star in this case. So if you have it at say level 5, you have a decent chance of leveling up after using it a few times. If it's level 10, it'll be even higher. At level 1, negligible. So that's kind of a basic of how it is. I'll be able to explain it a little better later, but right now we don't really have any options to work with, so is what it is. I wanted to check special on CS there. And he has no text, that's great. Now, one more thing to go over is how I'm cropping the videos. A bunch of them before I didn't even do editing, I just recorded a whole bunch and that was it. And then I realized when I was doing the editing that there's going to be black bars somewhere on the video regardless of what I do. That's because if you kind of look at the bottom of the screen there, you see the black bars there at the bottom. I go into the menu and it's not quite there. So that has something to do with it. At least I think that's how it was supposed to work. Or maybe it's the sides. Anyway, it's different in battle. In battle, there'll be a black bar in one location. In the menu, there's probably no black bars. And on the field, there's black bars on the other section that's not with the battle. So I couldn't like just crop it down because it's the same. I had to, crop it down as best I could. Anyway, enough rambling. That's going to do it for this episode. Next time, we're going to head up to Portmas, and I guess we'll be doing deliveries for a little bit. Anyway, that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.